Welcome to another episode of Gab with Gail. I'm with Dr. Dana Anglund today. I love him. We were just talking before I hit record, and I told him, I said, I'm sure you're a cranky pants sometimes, but I have never seen you cranky. He's always so even keeled, so flowy, so lovely. His energy is just brilliant. And so I wanted to introduce you guys to him because he is somebody you need to know. We did interview him for my book. If you haven't read the book, his interview is in there. But he's just a lovely person, a DO doctor, I guess that's how you would say it. And I just want to welcome Dr. Anglund to my show.
Thanks, Gail. It's so nice to be here.
Oh my gosh, so great to have you. Haven't seen you in a few years. And obviously the COVID thing's been a little bit crazy, but I figured if you could come on here and talk to us a little bit about how the medical profession has changed and really what you see with your patients right now. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of a big question, of course. But one thing that I have been telling anyone who will listen is that COVID has really challenged every single one of our systems. So the medical system is just one of those. So it challenged our financial system. It challenged our education system. How do we think about work? How do we think about healthcare? I mean, it's really challenged every part of our lives. And if we're wise, we'll take a look and say, how can we go forward instead of going back to normal, whatever that was? So in the medical world, it seems that we're seeing a bigger division or a stronger division among what we call mainstream medicine, and then whatever falls into the umbrella of alternative. And that there's kind of being a wedge driven in there, which is something that I personally am horrified by. Because I think that we actually need the best that everything has to offer, that both sides have to offer. And I will tell anyone who listen, Western medicine is beautiful, it's wonderful, it's important, we need it, but only as long as it stays in its lane. Like, what is it good at? And it turns out it's probably less than 1% of our experience as humans is what it's actually built for and what it's good at. But, God forbid you're out driving your car and somebody smashes into you. You want to go to the hospital and get your bones set and get your blood vessels stitched up. Like, we want that. And it's so amazing that we have that as an opportunity. But when we take that same like heroic life-saving model and we try to put it into our everyday lives, it just doesn't fit. And
that's what I was sharing with you too, is like what happened when COVID happened. The doctor shut down, the chiropractor shut down, and we were left to listen to our own bodies. Hello. That's where I feel like it was so brilliant. And we were left to say, okay, what am I feeling? And not being able to go to the doctor and find out what's going on.
That is so important. That cannot be overstated, how important it is to listen to our own bodies. We have outsourced the human experience. We have experts for everything, right? We don't tell stories anymore because we have expert storytellers on Netflix or whatever your streaming service is, right? And it's even worse with our own health. We outsource that. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to ask Dr. Google, God forbid, or Dr. Smith, instead of saying, well, what if I ask the innate wisdom that is built into my system? And I said, hey, why don't I be quiet? Why don't I be still? And why don't I listen to what this amazingly designed machine is trying to tell me? And oh my gosh, the world opens up. And I mean, if we want to talk about, well, how can we make healthcare affordable? Well, what if we were our own physicians? What if we were our own pharmacies? What if we were our own healers? Because it's already built in.
That's what I love about when I came to see you and how you can tune into someone's body. And I realized we can all tune into our own bodies. You know, we come to you But it's just that platform where we start learning about our own body, and you can say, now tune into your spleen and tune into this and tune into that. And you've taught me so much over the years that I'm just eternally grateful. And so, but your gift is so beautiful. The other morning I woke up and my guides told me we all need an energy doctor. And I thought, how interesting that we go from a physical doctor, which we will need if we have a car accident and broken bones, but the energy doctor to work on our energy, to work on our soul. So, can you comment about that?
Absolutely. So the way I approach medicine is actually on a 5-body model. So there's the physical body, of course, but the energy body, the mental body, the intuitive body, and the spirit body. And it's just another way of dividing up our experience. There's nothing magical about it. But does have some basis in Ayurveda. But the point is, we are these holistic beings that have all of these pieces. And the example I'd love to give is, let's say, God forbid, you have depression. And if that depression is coming from a disordered belief that says, I'm not good enough, or I have to suffer in order to please God, or, some strange belief that's held on your subconscious mental body, it does not matter how many physical inputs we give your physical body. It's not going to shift that mental issue that needs to be shifted. So just like with energy medicine, just like with something that is going to be focusing on the mental or the intuitive, we have to have the right input for the right issue. And the higher frequencies are always going to trickle down into the lower frequencies. So if we make an adjustment on the soul level or the spirit body, that is going to manifest eventually on the physical body. But if we make an adjustment on the physical body, it's not necessarily going to go back up into those higher vibrations. So what we need is to be able to look at all of those vibrations. And here's another piece of it. If somebody says, well, if that's true, why don't we just always just treat our spirit body and then that's it and do nothing else? Well, it's a great place to start. But the question is, how many lifetimes could it take for that change in your spirit body to manifest in your physical body? It may be a few incarnations before you get there, right? So if we want a physical change, we need a physical input. But if that change is dependent on something in the energy body or the spirit body, we have to do those things first. So it's all about doing things in the right order at the right frequency and then rebalancing everything together after that.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes I'll have like right shoulder pain. I'm like, okay, this is not a physical body thing. This is an emotional body thing, or maybe it's a universal body thing or another past life thing. So I have to go through all my different bodies and say, okay, where did this originate from? Instead of running to the doctor for a cortisone shot in my shoulder.
That is exactly right. That's exactly right. And if we just take the time to ask, well, what body is this coming from? I know where it's manifesting. It's manifesting in my shoulder, but where is it coming from? Just that alone will save us thousands of dollars and years of heartache, right? Just knowing where to begin. So that's really important.
Yeah, no, and that's, some of the things that I've learned from you too, is, how all the different meridians are aligned. And, this tooth might be your kidney meridian, and, you have a root canal on that. There's something going on. So people just don't spend enough time they'll research on the internet all day long for, how to grow grass in the sand, but they won't research about their own body. Right. Tell me about the weight. You were telling me about a weight loss analogy. Tell me about that. Was hilarious.
Yeah. So how I kind of talk about weight loss. If somebody says, man, I really just have to lose this weight. I said, well, listen, we can get you to lose 30 pounds right now. We'll just cut your leg off. Right. So it's not about the weight. That's just a placeholder for, I want to feel good in my body. I want to be healthy. I want to have a good body composition. I want longevity, whatever. But it's not really about weight, but the system has told us, well, that's what we think about. That's what we talk about. I tell everyone that the only thing the scale tells you is that gravity still works. That's all it tells you. But if we want to look at, well, how do I actually get to a better body composition? You have to start by recognizing that often disorders of weight are a nutrition problem. I'm not being nourished appropriately. And where does that start? Well, I submit to you, it probably starts in your soul. Are you getting enough love? Are you getting enough support? Are you getting enough joy? Are those things nourishing your soul the way that they ought to? And then, we go from there into, okay, physical body. Am I eating real, actual food, not fake carbs, not fake protein, not fake fiber, not fake fat, not fake color, not fake anything, right? Actual real food. But that has to start with, am I nourishing my soul? Am I nourishing my mind? Am I nourishing my heart? And a lot of times we don't. And then we try to substitute that with something else because, listen, I know that chocolate tastes good, right? I know that it releases the endorphins. I know that that makes me feel better for a little while. But that's, again, a physical input for something that may not actually have a physical problem. Or the physical problem is the downstream consequence of something else. So we got to look at it holistically and say, am I getting good nourishment for my whole being, not just my physical body? And then the other piece, of course, of that is my environment. Am I in an environment that supports my healthy body composition? And a lot of times, we're overstressed for way too long. Even when we don't recognize it, our bodies are designed, our psyches are designed for kind of little to no stress most of the time. And then we can have spikes of moderate or maybe high, but then it should drop back down to baseline. That's what we do really well with. But if we're just always at a constant level, even if it's just, well, it's not that bad, it's maybe like a 3 or a 4 out of 10, but that over 5 years will break you. So anyway, I think it's a great metaphor for looking at the holistic picture instead of just like, well, how many calories am I eating? Or am I avoiding all carbs or, whatever? It's how am I nourishing my whole being, starting with my soul.
Yeah, and that's so great because a lot of people say, well, I'm replenishing with supplements. Well, what is up? Supplements aren't great. What if the integrity of the manufacturer is not there? What if the integrity of the company is not there? It's so low vibe. And here we're trying to teach, let's go high vibe, let's go high vibe, let's raise our vibration. But yeah, we're bringing it down with these supplements instead of bringing it up. We need whole foods. We need to pray over our food. We need to do these things to increase our vibration. And then during COVID, we couldn't hug each other. We're fist bumping and we're elbow bumping. And I had so many clients that came in and said, can I just get a hug? Can I just have a hug? And I'm like, absolutely, you can have a hug. And I know you're a great hugger. I love to hug. And it's, people need that physical touch. How are they, nourishing themselves with that? We are, you were saying something about holism. So we are better as a whole, but yet we keep getting these energies that try to divide us. I don't want to talk too much politics, but we're getting divide. No, give me a freaking hug because I want to hug. I need that human interaction.
Exactly right. Exactly right. One of the things I kept saying during all of COVID was, why are we willing to give up living in order to prevent death? It doesn't make any sense. We're giving up our humanity. And we know scientifically, it is a fact that if we have a deficit of physical touch, that is psychologically and also physiologically damaging. That babies, if they don't get enough touch in their first days of life, will actually die. It is desperately important. And I'm an osteopath, so I'm a touchy-feely guy. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. That's what I do. But I recognize the importance of community and contact and connection. And that's something that, our little Zoom call here, that facilitates connection at a lot of levels, which is fantastic. But if we only do this over time, that's not healthy either. We need all of the pieces. We need holistic contact. We need holistic connection. We need holistic community. And it takes a little bit of energy and effort to make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. No, and look what we did. We didn't want the husband in the delivery room when the baby comes out. I mean, we just totally jacked everybody up. You couldn't be there when your parent was dying. They had to die alone or on the phone with you. Such bullshit. And I'm sorry for using the word, but it was terrible. It was breaking my heart what we were doing to humanity. It's terrible. And, then the fear is compromising our immune system. So then, we don't have that resilience that we needed. We needed the hugging. That builds the immune system. We needed the human interaction. We needed the unconditional divine love. We needed all that stuff. And yet the powers that be were saying, no, you don't need that. You don't need any of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I try not to get too conspiratorial. I try to take off my tinfoil hat at least sometimes. But honestly, if you think about it long enough, you think, oh my gosh, like it looks like someone or someone's we're trying to make this thing as damaging as possible. How can we, and it could be that it's people are just ignorant and they're going from one perspective and they're saying, well, germs are the only thing that we need to worry about. And they get hyper focused on that. Give people the benefit of the doubt, but the end result is the same. And so, you're talking about fear. It's funny because, well, it's not funny, but it's ironic, I guess. Viruses are attracted to fear. They're absolutely attracted to fear. So if we have a viral pandemic and everyone freaks out, it's only going to get worse. And that was one of the things I was preaching right at the beginning. I said, guys, fear is what is driving this thing. So we have to interrupt that fear. We have to interrupt that fear response. And you know what? Perfect love drives out fear. Perfect love drives out fear. So that's the solution. The solution, the cure, the treatment, it's love.
We, during COVID, I heard this study from India about the Gayatri mantra and how it was killing COVID, and they had scientifically proven this. And I said, okay, so what is the Gayatri mantra? Oh, love and gratitude, no fear. And that was the day I said, okay, I need somebody to record this piece of music, this mantra for the harmonic egg sessions. And she did, and she's beautiful and brilliant. But it's like, okay, so at that moment, I was like, then fear is feeding it and love is killing it. Yay. Let's spend more time in love and nourishing our soul and being in community and in family and just, it was just awesome. It was awesome. It was such a revelation. It was so cool. So I agree.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's so great. And it's a good segue to talk about how I like to treat. The motive force behind all my treatments is divine love. That is what I use. And because I find it is the highest vibration, it's always appropriate. It's never going to harm. It is the safest, most powerful treatment that you can ever engage with. And it is readily accessible to anyone, everywhere, all the time. You cannot escape it. You cannot get away from divine love. It is chasing you down no matter how fast you run, man. It is always there. And, it's unlimited supply. So why wouldn't we use divine love to interact with the issues that we have?
Well, that's what I admire you so much, because whenever you're in or I'm in your presence, that's what you feel is that unconditional divine love. Now, there is no conditional love. So I always feel love when I'm around you, and it's just, you just emanate it. And so it's just such a beautiful expression of who you are. So I know you have a course. What is your course about? You have a course online.
Yeah. So if you go to divinestillpoint.com, you will be bombarded with the sales aspect of signing up for my classes. I'm working on that, by the way. I'm working with some people to help me with the website, but the course is designed to teach people how to heal themselves or other people. So if you want to be a healer, or you already are a healer, and you want to use the power of divine love in the concept of stillness to heal your patients and clients, then this is for you. If you are not a healer, but you're like, hey, I should learn how to help myself, this is also designed for you. I made it for everybody. It's super accessible. And the whole thing together is called Divine Still Point, and it packs it all in. And then I've broken it out into some other like smaller modules. So if you're like, well, I'm only an energy healer, I don't really want to do hands-on stuff. Awesome. There's healing the energy body. You can just do that module, or healing the subtle bodies, or healing the physical body. Those are all individual modules. And then I broke out healer's consciousness, which is how to use your own consciousness to connect with divine love in the presence of a healing experience. And then also just divine love. There's just one little module that's just about divine love, that all we do is go through different meditations on how do I find it? How do I project it? How do I resonate it? All the different, how do I accept divine love? That's a big one. All of those pieces. And then energy testing is a separate one, because you can't do any of this if you don't know how to energy test. So it's, you can do the whole thing together, or you can just break it up into the little modules if you like. And just for you guys, I did put a coupon out there. So if you type in Gail22, you will get a discount for any of the courses there. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, there's so many healers out there that I love, but they have bad days. And I've just, like I said, I've never seen you have a bad day. And if you do, you don't project it to the client or the patient. And so many times I've left a healer and I felt their anger, and I felt their fear, and I felt their lack of love for themselves. And it just breaks my heart. So I don't really go to healers anymore. And definitely don't want me working on you, because I'm a Scorpio and sometimes I get my little, panties in a wad. And so I created the harmonic egg, which is a consistent and repeatable device that doesn't have a bad day or doesn't have menopause symptoms like me. So what is your website, the URL?
So it's divinestillpoint.com.
Okay.
So just go to divinestillpoint.com. And if you want to shoot me an email, you've got questions, or you want to be on the list to know what's coming next, what's the big thing, it's info@divinestillpoint.com.
Nice, nice.
Still point for stillness. There you go.
I'm so proud of you. I know you're on to your next journey, and you're going to be traveling and teaching all over the world. And I mean, I'm just so honored and blessed to know you. And I can't even express how proud I am of you.
Oh, thank you. That means so much. It is my privilege to know you and to work with you and to be part of your vision of helping people to take back control of their own bodies, their own health, their own energy, their own world. That it's such an important thing. And I'm so glad that you are on the mission and that I can be part of it.
Thank you. Well, any final words, anything that you want to say, anything that people should really focus on for going forward and with their health journey?
The two things that I think that everyone should know is, number one, you are completely in possession of all of the wisdom and tools that you need to be as healthy as you want to be. That is absolutely true. And we have been lied to our whole lives over generations. We have it built in because the designer did that on purpose. And the fastest, easiest, most reliable way to access that is through divine love, which is everywhere. So if you seek for divine love, you will find it, and you will find healing to boot.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I love you so much. Safe travels to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Gail. Thank you so much.